Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Moxie and this is my battle for week 9 of the UBC. So this week I'm going up against the Hague Hawluchas, coached by ImmortalMence. So, yeah, the UBC has not been going super amazingly for me so far. I have lost my first 2 games after taking over for Tom, who gave me a 2-4 record to start with, which, you know, is okay. Not amazing, but still decent enough to maybe give me a chance at playoffs if I could get on a run. But I did lose my first 2 games. There was some hacks involved, and, you know, overall hacks did not help me. But, you know, it is what it is. Not a huge deal. We are 2-6. I think if I went out, I might have a chance at playoffs, but it's only top 5 out of 11. So I'm just going to relax and just have some fun, I think. Didn't really bring any super spicy memes this week to have fun, per se. But I did bring, you know, a cool team. I think this team is pretty good, so I'll just read off his team. You know, I'll do the brief team builder like I've been doing the past couple weeks since I've joined the UBC. So his team, I'm not going to put it on screen. I'll just read it off just because whatever. He's got Mega Medi, Gengar, Hydreigon, Scizor, Primarina, Ditto, Mamoswine, Rotom Heat, Dhelmise, Keldeo, and Whirlipede. So Hydreigon is a Z-User, so that thing's pretty scary. But the good thing about it is if it does have a Z-Crystal, then it's not Scarfed, which is a pretty scary versus my team too. So first off, we got my Fake Out Last Resort Lopunny, whose normal resist is Scizor, which I could bring Fire Punch for, but I have a lot of things to pressure Scizor with my team and some stuff to kind of beat it, so hopefully I can beat Scizor, and then if that thing's really low or weakened, Lopunny can potentially just win and just hit stuff really hard. And he'll probably think that I Fire Punch till he sees confirmation on my set. So yeah, let me swap it around just so you can see who the next one is and see it up here. So also one thing that I mentioned last week but didn't do, or I didn't start it last week, but I started this week, is I'm going to be naming my Pokemon after presidents. So I named my Lopunny here. Let me slide it back in so you can see the nickname. I named it Lincoln, as you can see right here. I just kind of named it whatever president I first thought of when I sort of looked at them on. I don't know. But Lincoln, because Lincoln's cool. Lopunny's cool. Yeah. So next we got Jackson, the Incineroar, because like he was pretty aggressive, pretty hostile. And I feel like that is exactly what Incineroar is. So you get a choice Scarf Incineroar this week, Flare Blitz, Darkest, Lariat, U-Turn, and Return. And that last move, just kind of filler, just kind of spammable versus his team. He does have 2 Ghost types, to be fair, but you know, they don't really want to switch in too well on an Incineroar, and it might not come, or might be gone, or, you know, whatever. So, and that could still hit Primarina decently hard, and still hit Hydreigon decently hard, and, you know, decently spammable, just neutral coverage. Enough speed for, I think, I don't know, Gengar, I think enough speed so I can have to beat Gengar with my Scarf. But yeah, next we got a Decidueye with an Assault Vest. So the EVs were kind of messed up. I didn't realize till a certain point in the battle, which I will point out. The name is JFK because I was just thinking for this, some president that's dead, which most of them are, just because it's a ghost type, and I don't know, I feel like JFK made sense just because, you know, he died kind of early in this turn. Rest in peace. So we got Energy Ball, Shadow Ball, Hidden Power, Fire, and U-turns. So it's supposed to be a special Decidueye, but the EV spread does not make it look like that, and that is because I messed up there. Originally I was physical, I think like Spirit Shock, Leaf Blade and stuff, just so I can boost my U-turns and hit pretty hard with those, but I went in Power Fire to hit the Scizor, so I went special, but with U-turn. But I forgot to change the EVs back, so I'm adamant, and no special attack, so my special moves aren't going to be hitting super hard, and I did realize that at some point during the battle, which I will point out. Next we got Taff, the Miltank, because Taff is pretty fat, Miltank is also pretty large, so running a Tropical Berry with Stealth Rock, Milk Drink, Fire Punch, Body Slam. I really liked the coverage of these 2 moves. Now, I couldn't really hit Gengar or Dhelmise super hard. I mean, Dhelmise still does not want to take a Fire Punch, but I don't hit Gengar super hard with Fire Punch, and if he's running Focus Blast, he can really pressure me a lot and kind of beat me, and this is kind of my switch into Gengar, which otherwise is really scary versus my team. So I am running Scrappy just so I can hit that thing with a Body Slam, and also I guess he'll hit Dhelmise on the switch in. I do a Fire Punch, but I still want to be able to hit Gengar pretty hard and just be able to spam Body Slam. You know, I don't have to click Fire Punch if I think Dhelmise is coming in. I can just click Body Slam, get some nice neutral damage, still do a lot. The EV spread, it had some kind of purpose. The rest, yeah, the 40 in speed was just throwing the rest in it just for some purpose. The defense is so I can live, you know, it's a Spadef, I think that matters. I think it's Spadef so I can live like 2 Dracos from a Scarfed Dragon, I think. And that is with the minus special. Yeah, it's with the drop that it gets after the first Draco. Then Dochicus is Wakan, Baton, Passeries, Air/, or Sphere, just kind of mixed bulk. I think it was kind of arbitrary with some stuff. Maybe, it might have had a purpose with some of these EVs, I forget honestly, but just pretty nice dual stab versus his team. Then we got my Latias, Energy Ball, Draco, Hidden Firefire, and Healing Wish. The Yachi helped me take an Ice Shard from Ammo or an Ice Punch from Mega Medicham, which is nice. My team really has trouble switching into Mega Medi. I do have Slowbro, but it didn't bring it. I didn't love its matchup. It also helps me switching to Rotom. I know he can just Volt Turn on me, Volt Switch on me, but you know, Latias still pressures a lot of his team, so it's really nice. And if he does not bring Gengar, which could potentially outspeed me, or at least Vitae, probably threaten me out, then Latias is looking like a good mod in this game. So let's get right into the battle. So you can see I bring the 6 I just went over. He brings Primarina, Scizor, Ditto, Mega Medicham, Dhelmise, and Rotom. He didn't totally expect Dhelmise because he's not brought that yet this season. So didn't really expect it, but he did bring it just for hazard support, I'm assuming. And it's also could be kind of bulky with an Assault Vest or just hit kind of hard. And I don't have great switch-ins, I suppose. Miltank's a pretty good one, but if that goes down early, then that's a little bit of a problem. Togekiss is there too and can take Power Rips pretty well. Shadow Claw is decently well, but he does get Rock Slide and Anchor Shot, and with the Steel Stab boost pretty much, that's actually kind of scary to Togekiss. So it's a little spooky. No Mamoswine, no Gengar, no Hydreigon though, so no Z-moves. But that's really cool though that he didn't bring those big threats because they were kind of scary. But it actually brings quite an interesting team, which we'll see in just a minute once we get further into the battle. So I just lead Lopunny. I wanted to lead Miltank, but I didn't want to let him lead with Ditto and just maybe set up rocks, as I would probably do that too, and I didn't want him to totally know my set. I mean, that wasn't a huge deal, but still. I'm just going to lead Lopunny, as I know he can fake me out, but I kind of didn't realize until I switched until the turn started, but he actually can't Mega because he doesn't have the Lopunny, or the Lopunite, or whatever. You know, he copied my normal Lopunny, so he's only going to be able to hit me with the fake out, and then he's choice locked in that, so he has to click fake out, which does nothing to Miltank. And he cannot click Last Resort because he's most likely choice locked, as, yeah, it looks like he is. So I just get up Rocks and switch into Rotom. So I just go for Body Slam because I don't want him to Volt Switch and almost switch into Latias and then bring in something scary like Scizor or, I don't know, maybe Dhelmise. So I just go for Body Slam just to get off some damage. As he sets up dual screens, which looks really spooky. No lefties, so he's probably like Clay. As he does just Volt Switch, gets off some chip as Scizor comes in. I think I click Fire Punch. I do. I predicted a Volt Switch or just a Dry Switch. So I do like nothing. That's like the least a Fire Punch or any fire move has ever done to a Scizor, ever. So, no, I mean, the Reflect is up, that's why, but even then, I still don't even do half. So, I also take Rocky Helmet Damager, which is pretty spooky. So, here, I ate Milk Drink. I'm thinking he might want to set up some boost with this or with something else once it's all the dual screens. I thought something would want to set up some boost, maybe Baton Pass, or just do some scary sweeping. So this thing actually sets up an Agility, which is really scary. So, I just click Fire Punch again, I think. Or no, I do click Body Slam, predicting to switch into Medi, or into maybe Primarina or something. His Body Slam was pretty safe because I thought he would Baton Pass. Anyways, as he does go right into Medi, I do get the parry, which is kind of lucky for me. I would have stayed in, and I do have Chople, so I could have lived any one hit from him. And then I still would have gone for Body Slam again. And then from that, I would have had a decent chance to get a parry one of the 2 turns. You know, I have a 60% chance to get a parry one of the 2 turns. So, you know, those aren't bad odds. Those are in my favor slightly. So I just go right into Togekiss on the Ice Punch. So good play on his end, but he's still threatened out by an Air Slash. So I think I just roost just to stay healthy with Kiss because I want it for well, my Latias set is hard walled, or my Latias set, if he wants to copy with Ditto, is hard walled by my Togekiss. So I want to keep Togekiss healthy and around that way. If Ditto copies my Latias, then it's not really scary, because otherwise it is very scary versus my team. So here, he just Volt Switches on my switch in Latias, which makes sense. I thought he'd do that, and it's fine. So he brings in Primarina, same thing. So I just go right into my Decidueye to take a hit, as he does guard from Moonblast, which does a bit. So this damage shows that he is not Specs, could be Scarfed or something. I think it showed that he's Modest, or maybe it's like a high roll from Timid, I forget. So he does a chunk. So at this point, so I think as I was looking at the calcs now, I realized, wait, I'm a physically invested L here, even though I have 3 special attacks. So I'm like, oh, well, shit. So I just click U-turn here, or no, yeah, I do. So he clicks Ice Beam, and I was very confused for a second, because, so I click U-turn. I thought he'd switch into Scizor, he didn't, whatever, but it still allows me to get some chip and bring in something. So I got off the slow U-turn, which I wasn't really intending to do, so this owl here is supposed to outspeed a max speed Modest Primarina. From the damage from Ice Beam, he is Modest, so if he's max speed, which I think he was, yeah, he was, because I think, yeah, it had to be a speed tie, because he cannot speed me. But I was 30 IVs in speed, so, because of my Hidden Fire, so that means that I was actually 1 speed point lower, so I actually speed tied this thing instead of speed creeping it, which is actually pretty beneficial here, because as I didn't want to get off the fast U-turn as I stayed in, and then have to bring in something on an ice beam. I could have maybe brought in maybe a low plenty, maybe Incineroar, like on the ice beam, but if you're looking in boss, I'd still do a lot to either, so yeah, that's scary. But thankfully I got off the slow U-turn. I still thought he'd switch out, but you know, it is what it is. But now that I know my set there is kind of messed up, that's just probably just gonna be sack fodder. I was gonna say setup fodder, that's what I was thinking, but I was thinking the wrong kind of fodder. Sack fodder for later, because it just doesn't do a whole lot. So Miltank in against that thing is no, he doubled, right? Yeah, no, wait, what happened? Right, because I brought in low plenty. I thought he'd bring in Scizor, so he doubled in the Miltank as he ended up bringing in Rotom. He gets up a Reflect, which is a little bad, but I do at least Body Slam and knock him out. So we're up 6-5, that looks okay. I Fire Punch, does nothing. Hoping he doesn't have Roost. He does have Roost though, so if he didn't, that would have allowed me to weaken it down for low plenty later, or just knock him out soon. But he does have Roost, which is annoying, but smart. So he Agility's here. So he's probably going to have a down pass out and something. So he's bringing his Primarina, which I do just click U-turn here, predicting a switch into something, because I mean, he'd have to down pass that and something if he stayed in. You know, I don't think he would, because he decides to do a Flare Blitz if he does not down pass. So in comes low plenty. I can fake out and do a decent chunk, but the reflexive, so I'm actually not doing quite as much as I would like to. Here, to sack off Decidueye, yeah, I just do that because it does nothing in this game anymore. So here, Miltank comes in, and I click Body Slam just to get off some damage, and that would have put it in low plenty fake out range, I think. I think Miltank gets... No, actually, no, Miltank does not get to give because he was not Specs, and I don't know what his item was. I don't think we found it out. Possibly Assault Vest. Oh, no, he wasn't. Yeah, we'll find out later. So I just click Body Slam and switch into Medi. He takes a bit. So I'm gonna outspeed because he's paired. So he clicks Drain Punch and activates my Choke Pull and gets some health back. I was hoping he would die if I jump kick. That way he would not get health back from Drain Punch, but he does. So you know, whatever. It is what it is. So I Body Slam, he Drain Punches, knocks me out, and he's at around 60. So here I can bring in Togekiss, which can just knock this thing out with an Air Slash, as I just go for that, just knock him out. So it's tied 4-4, looking even. So he brings in his Ditto. And this is a little annoying, because the Scarf Togekiss is actually really scary versus my team, especially at this point, as I did not bring a Flying Resist. So that's bad. So here, I can still shoot Air Slashes from this thing, though. It's doing less than a quarter. It's doing, a little less than 25. So he does flinch in there, which is unfortunate. So my plan was to Baton Pass, just get off the slow B pass, bring in my Incineroar, which does outspeed this thing. And my Incineroar is Scarfed. I kind of didn't intend on doing that, intend on my Incineroar outspeeding this thing, but it was very convenient that it did, and I'll pretend it was on purpose. So I Roost there just because I want to try to keep this thing healthy, but I know he can flinch me again, so maybe I should have B-Pass there, but he just keeps clicking Air Slash, which is his play, makes sense. So he's going to keep getting some flinches, which is annoying. I'm hoping he does not flinch me here so I can get off the slow B-Pass, but he actually switches into Scizor, expecting me to Roost again, I think. So I just B-Pass, which is what I was trying to do the whole time. Every turn except for the one turn I clicked Roost, I was trying to B-Pass, and I finally got it off because he did not flinch me, because he didn't go for Air Slash. So I just brought in Latias and Scizor. I can click Hidden Power Fire on him and knock him out, or anything else wants to switch in. Still doesn't appreciate Hidden Power Fire. And a Premium Render can't take the Hidden Power Fire, but you're in range of Energy Ball even if you're Rindo, which you're not, and you're not Assault Vest based on the Hidden Power Fire damage. So really not sure what the item was on Prim. Maybe Expert Belt, although actually he could have been Timid Expert Belt now that I think about it, because he actually had some bulk. So in hindsight, actually probably was Timid Expert Belt, which is why I thought he was modest. That makes sense then, actually. So okay, whatever. So probably was not a speed tie. I'm not certain. I did not have him send. I didn't exchange teams with him, but I do bring in my Incineroar on his Dome-Ice, expecting Shadow Claw. He makes a good play. Clicks Rock Slide. I can still take one, so whatever. So here I click Flare Blitz. He doesn't really have a safe switch, and even his Ditto, it can take it, but not super well. And I do a good chunk, which is nice. Now here, one of us can be able to get off a Flare Blitz as I win the speed tie, but it doesn't really matter because either way, the other one would live and then we both die because the other one would die to recoil, which he did. So I bring in Togekiss now. It's 3-2, looking okay. So I thought he'd bring in Dome-Ice, lost at 50-50, but even if he did bring in Scizor, then you know it wasn't the worst thing in the world if I just had to sack off Togekiss. Now here, I do just stay in case if his last move was U-turn. It'd probably be Bullet Punch, so I could have switched into Latias, which could take a couple of those. But I thought, you know, if it is U-turn and he clicks it on switch into Latias and Latias dies, and then I pretty much, well, not necessarily lose this game, Although, actually, nah, I kind of do, because, well, I guess not. Actually, Hawluchas wins then, because then, maybe I could have made the play in Lottie in hindsight, because I already saw his other 3 moves, and agility, roost, and Baton pass, so then if he did a V-turn here, then Hawluchas would have been able to wall this thing. So in hindsight, actually, maybe could have won with Kiss if I went to Lottie there and he did a V-turn. But he'd ball punch. He had the crit, didn't matter. So Hawluchas dies. I bring in Latias, hidden power fire is going to knock that thing out, and I think 2KO. Don't must, but he's actually a Soul Fest, so they don't quite 2KO. So here I make the play into low pony, which, you know, I guess kind of obvious, but he does predict that and goes for power up. I do live though, which I was guaranteed to. He does not crit me, so I just go for fake out here. Now I thought he'd switch into Scizor. Now he did not switch into Scizor, which I think in hindsight that was his best play though. So I did just fake out, and I can last resort knock that thing out. So Domus is going to go down. Now I think that was his best play though, because the reason I clicked fake out there was because if he did switch into Scizor, which I expected, I would just sack off low pony into Scizor. I would click fake out and then last resort. Although he can knock me out with ball punch anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, so low pony would die. So then I can bring in Latias and either knock Scizor out with hidden power fire, or if he wants to switch in Domus, he gets 2KO'd by hidden power fire at that point, and Scizor would come back in and die. Or if he stays in with Scizor, Scizor dies, and then Domus would come in, take rocks, and after rocks, Domus is in range of a Draco from Latias. So either way, I was going to win that game with how I played that they were staying in with low pony. If I switched out into Latias as he clicked Shadow Claw, then I would have lost. So I think that was definitely his play, because that was his only way of coming back in the game. So definitely makes sense why he made that play. But I think I made the smarter play in the end, just making sure I can win. I could have potentially preserved differential there by going into Lottie on the Volt Punch, but if he double critted me, I would have died, and then I guess, I don't know if I'd call it a choke, but no, I would have lost the game then. So I just made the safest play possible and just got the win. So we do win 1-0, my first win in UBC, so that is pretty cool. So we're now 3-6 with like minus 15 differential. The differential's very bad. I didn't take over a great differential team, and then I got 6-0 my first week, which didn't help. And then this is only a 1-0 win, so, you know, whatever. But, you know, I'm just having some fun, just trying to pick up some wins, just trying to have some fun, really, as I said. I got a nice win versus ImmortalMence. Next week I'm playing Adam and his Houston Soul Rockets, so that should be a good game. Adam's in the NPL Minors. He is a very cool guy. He's the commissioner of this league. So, yeah, I'm excited for next week. It'll be coming up next Friday, you know. But, yeah, I'll see you guys then. Bye.